Andre got a raise on a Friday, $8,000 more per year. He had worked for it for 2 years. He had taken on extra responsibilities. He had stayed late. He had earned it. He went home feeling like something had finally shifted. 6 months later, he was broke. Not broke like before the raise. Broke in a different way, a confusing way. The kind of broke where the number going into your account is higher than it used to be, and the number staying in your account is lower. He was making more money than he had ever made in his life, and he had less to show for it than the year before. He sat at his desk one evening, trying to understand it. He opened his bank app. He opened his budgeting app. He looked at his pay stubs from the last 6 months. The numbers were there. The raise was real. The deposits were larger, and yet there was less in his savings than before. He stared at the screen for a long time. Then he called his coworker Simone. She had gotten the same raise 6 months earlier than him. Same company, same amount. He asked her how she was doing with it. She said, "I barely noticed it." He said, "What do you mean you barely noticed it?" She said, "I mean it went where it was supposed to go, and I kept living the way I was living." He did not understand what she meant. Not yet. This video is about the exact point where a raise stops building your life and starts being consumed by forces you never saw coming. Forces that are invisible, automatic, and perfectly designed to absorb every dollar of income growth before it reaches your actual future. If any of that felt familiar, subscribe and hit the bell. What comes next is the part that actually changes things. Andre's raise was $8,000 per year. That is $666 per month before anything touches it. Here's what touched it. First, taxes. Andre moved from a combined federal and state marginal tax rate of 22% to 24% on the portion of income above the threshold. That does not mean his entire income is taxed at 24%. It means the additional $8,000 sits in a higher bracket. On the federal level alone, that increase cost him approximately $160 per month more in taxes than before the raise. He did not know this was coming. Nobody told him. According to the Tax Policy Center, the majority of American workers do not understand how marginal tax brackets work. They believe a raise into a higher bracket means their entire income is taxed at the higher rate. It does not work that way. But the confusion causes real financial distortions. People make decisions based on a tax system they have fundamentally misunderstood. After taxes, Andre's $666 became approximately $506. Then lifestyle happened. This is the part nobody warns you about. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Expenditure Survey, American household spending increases by an average of 62% of every income increase within the first 12 months of receiving it. 62%, almost 2/3 of every raise is absorbed by expanded lifestyle before it has a chance to become anything else. Not because people are reckless, because raises feel like permission. Andre felt it immediately. The raise felt like he could finally breathe. He moved to a slightly nicer apartment, $200 more per month. He upgraded his phone plan, $30 more per month. He started going out for lunch instead of packing it, approximately $12 a day, 5 days a week, roughly $240 more per month. He subscribed to 3 streaming services he had been putting off, $45 combined per month. None of these felt like decisions. They felt like upgrades he had earned, relief he deserved. $515 per month in new recurring expenses. His after-tax raise was $506. He had spent $9 more than his entire raise generated. Read that again. Andre expanded his lifestyle by more than his raise produced. He was net negative from the moment he spent the first new dollar. That is the exact point. That is the exact point where a raise starts making you poorer. Not the raise itself, the response to the raise. The automatic, culturally endorsed, emotionally satisfying response that almost every working American makes without realizing what it costs. Simone made a different response. When her raise came through, she did 3 things before she changed anything about her life. She increased her 401k contribution by 2%. That redirected approximately $120 of her monthly raise before it ever hit her checking account. She increased her automatic transfer to her high-yield savings account by $100 per month. She paid off a small recurring subscription she had been meaning to cancel for 8 months. $22 per month eliminated. After those 3 moves, she had approximately $264 of her raise left to live on as lifestyle improvement. She went out for dinner once more per month than before. That was it. She did not feel restricted. She did not feel like she was sacrificing. She felt like she was managing. According to Vanguard's How America Saves report, employees who increase their retirement contribution rate with every salary increase end their careers with 63% more retirement savings than employees with similar incomes who keep a flat contribution rate. Not $63 more, 63% more. From one decision made every time a raise arrives, before the money becomes your current life. Andre never made that decision. He made the other one. The other one is not stupid. It is deeply human. It is what happens when you have been working hard, earning less than you wanted, and finally the number moves in the right direction. The natural response is to let the comfort expand, to let the breathing room become visible in your life. The problem is that comfort expands permanently. The new apartment does not go back to the old price. The new phone plan does not cancel itself. The lunches out become a habit, then a baseline, then a need. And when the next raise comes, if it comes, the new baseline has already consumed the last one. This is called lifestyle creep. And according to the Federal Reserve Shed, it is the primary reason American household savings rates do not increase proportionally with income increases. People earn more, they spend more, and the gap between earning and saving stays the same or narrows. According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, the personal savings rate in the United States has declined significantly over the last 40 years, even as average incomes have risen in real terms. Americans are earning more, in inflation-adjusted dollars, than they were in 1985. They are saving a smaller percentage of that income. More money in, same percentage out, less built. The raise is real. The lifestyle is real. The poverty it produces is quiet and invisible until it is not. Here's the mechanism in precise terms so you can see exactly where your own raises have gone. When you receive a raise, it passes through 4 filters before it can actually build your future. Filter 1 is taxes. Federal income tax, state income tax, where applicable, FICA. The higher your income, the more each additional dollar is taxed at the margin. A raise from $40,000 to $48,000 produces significantly different after-tax income, depending on your state, your deductions, your filing status. Most people do not calculate this before they spend. Filter 2 is fixed cost expansion. The new apartment, the newer car payment, the upgraded insurance that comes with the newer car. Fixed costs are the most dangerous lifestyle expansion because they do not bend in bad months. You can stop eating out when money gets tight. You cannot unsign a lease. Andre recognized himself in Filter 2. The apartment. He had signed a 12-month lease. There was no undoing it. Filter 3 is variable cost expansion. The lunches out, the subscriptions, the slightly nicer versions of things you were already buying. These feel small individually. According to the CFPB, the average American underestimates their discretionary spending by 30% per month. The small things are not small in aggregate. Filter 4 is lost investment opportunity. Every dollar of raise that goes to expanded lifestyle is a dollar that will not compound. According to JP Morgan Asset Management, A dollar invested at 30 is worth approximately $14 at 65 at historical market rates. Every dollar of raise spent on lifestyle at 30 costs $14 at 65. $14. Think about that in real terms, not as an abstraction, but as an actual exchange you are making every time a raise arrives, and lifestyle claims it before investing can. You are trading $14 at 65 for $1 of comfort at 31. You are making that trade without knowing the price, without anyone telling you the exchange rate, without a calculator showing you what you are giving up. The restaurant that costs $12 for lunch today costs $168 in future wealth at 65. The streaming service that costs $15 a month costs $210 a month in future wealth. Nobody posts that menu for every dollar of raise spent rather than invested. Andre is 31. He spent approximately $500 per month of his raise on lifestyle. That is $6,000 per year. At 14 times multiplier over 34 years, that lifestyle expansion cost him $84,000 in future wealth. From one raise. From 6 months of lifestyle decisions that felt like relief. He did not feel $84,000 leave. He felt a nicer apartment, a better phone plan, lunch with colleagues, a few extra shows to watch at night. Those things are not worthless, but they are not worth $84,000, and nobody told him the exchange rate. Now here is the question that matters. What should Andre have done? Not in theory, in practice. The answer is the same thing Simone did, in the same order she did it. Step 1. Before the raise arrives, decide where it goes. Do not wait until the money is in your account to make this decision. Make it before, because once it arrives in your checking account, it already feels like it belongs to your current life. The window for redirecting it is before you feel it. Step 2. Increase your retirement contribution first, before you touch the raise for anything else, even 1%, even 2%. According to EBRI, workers who increase contributions with every raise retire with dramatically more than workers who contribute at a flat rate regardless of income level. The increase does not have to be large. It has to happen before the raise disappears into your baseline. Step 3, automate a savings increase. Pick an amount, send it automatically to a high-yield savings account the same day your paycheck deposits, make it invisible. According to Fidelity Investments, people who automate savings increases with income. Increases save 2 to 3 times more over a career than those who save manually. Step 4, let the rest become lifestyle improvement. Whatever remains after steps 1 through 3 is yours to spend freely, with zero guilt, on whatever makes your life better. You have paid yourself first. You have invested your future. The remainder is genuinely yours. The order is everything. Simone learned this from her mother. Her mother was a nurse for 38 years. She never earned an exceptional income. She retired with $412,000 and zero debt. Her mother's rule was simple. Every raise, no matter how small, gets split 3 ways before lifestyle sees it. A third to retirement, a third to savings, a third to life. Simone modified it slightly for her own situation, but the principle stayed. The raise gets divided before it gets spent, not after. Before, because after is too late. After, it has already become your life. After, it already feels like yours in the wrong way. Fund the future first. Live on what is left. That is not deprivation. That is the sequence that produces the version of life you are actually working toward. Andre learned this 8 months after his raise. He was reviewing his accounts, trying to understand where the money had gone. He could see exactly where it had gone. The apartment, the phone, the lunches, the subscriptions, all of it visible, all of it logical in isolation, devastating in aggregate. He called Simone again. She walked him through what she had done, step by step. He listened this time in a way he had not listened the first time she explained it. He was quiet for a while after she finished. Then he said, "Why did nobody explain this when the raise was announced?" Simone said, "They do not explain it because your spending is their revenue. The apartment complex, the phone company, the streaming services, every business that benefits from your lifestyle expansion has an interest in you not knowing what that expansion costs you long term. Nobody in that chain profits from you investing the raise instead. So nobody explains it." He made 3 changes the next morning. He increased his 401k by 2%. He set up an automatic $100 monthly transfer to savings. He canceled 2 subscriptions he had forgotten he was paying for. He did not undo the apartment. He could not undo the apartment. But he stopped the forward motion of the lifestyle expansion before the next raise arrived. He is waiting for that raise now. This time, he knows what to do before it hits his account. He wrote it down. He put it in his phone. A note that says, "Raise protocol. 3 steps. In order. Before anything else." Simone has had 4 raises since she started at the company. She followed the same protocol each time. Her retirement account is now at $97,000. She is 33, Andre is 31. His retirement account is at $22,000. They started at the same company the same year. They have received raises of similar amounts. They have lived in the same city on similar incomes. 97,000 versus 22,000. The difference is not the raise. The difference is the 3 minutes it takes to redirect a raise before spending turns it invisible. 3 minutes. That is all the raise protocol takes. If this video explains something that has been confusing about your own income and your own accounts, share it with someone who just got a raise and does not know what to do with it yet. This might be the 3 minutes that changes the next 10 years of their financial life. Subscribe if you want to keep learning what actually moves the needle, and I will see you in the next one.